for supply, just to plugging away there to keep that thing built up. We like to look at the power supply. I doubt that I'll ever use it anymore. I don't know that I will. But if I ever trade the rig, I would want it to make the rig worth more. It'd be worth more with it than without it. I'll keep it operating off of battery probably. But I will send it over with Mr. Oh, good gracious, when he comes by, and I'll pay him for his apples that my daddy got that I didn't get a one of. I didn't even get the first one, John. And I've got to go over to my pa's house and indulge in an apple. And I'm sure that Marvin will be by in a few days, and we'll send that over, and you can look at it and do what you want to with it. I don't care. Hey, John, I've done talked it down.
We didn't hear who you turned it over to, was there, John? Hear from Mr. Greensboro man down there. Don't make fun of how I talk, John. They'll just have to send me up north, and then you'll have to take you with me so I can communicate. W4PZJ, WB4RGC. It's not going to the little boy's room, but it's going now.
Yeah, very fine. WB4RGC. Real good crap. No, that wouldn't sound right. Real great. Oh, we'll get you a good one. Yeah, you go. I'll have to admit, though, that John Dawson really came up with a classic. When he came up with it, and I'll phrase it to you in a moment because it was so good I had to copy it down and put it in quotes. When he was referring to the problem and looking into Luke Dawson's rig. And by the way, John, I hope you get that rig fixed, because I miss old Luke on here and his tales of the bygone years as how the real mountain folks used to weather the winter. Yeah, I'd like to get him back on the air in good shape. So don't tear his rig up. Try to get him back on the air as soon as you can. But I guess in response to John Fleming's comments about it, John Dawson said, and I quote, "It's not so much of trying to find a problem as to what the problem is." Now, I thought about that for a moment. Let me quote that again now, so that the full impact comes across. It's not so much of trying to find a problem as to figuring out what the problem is. And I added the word figure out, because I think that's what he meant. And I thought to myself, well, what in the world is the difference? And then I decided, well, if a sage philosopher offspring of Eugene Dawson said that, there must be a drastic difference. But I thought that was a quaint saying. Now, the rest of you might not agree, but I thought so. Can you figure out the difference there, Peter Rubino, WA4ASK, W4PZJ?
W4PZJ in the group WA4ASK. There is a degree of similarity there that just sort of overwhelms me, John. There just seems to be a bit of resemblance. Got my sidekick here, old Benny, on the side over here, trying to contribute a little bit to it also. Well, now, I'd find RGC. Now, is that one and only John Dawson there, PZJ?
Yeah, that's right, John Dawson. Born and raised on the face of the mountain up in Cana, Virginia. Great balls of fire. I didn't even know he knew how to put on shoes, let alone tie the shoestrings, but he's a real polished individual. Looks as though he might have come out of Harvard Law School. Now, he's the offspring of Eugene Dawson, who's his pappy, the grand philosopher of the Blue Ridge Mountains, way up there in Virginia. Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger. That must be old ZTY's, old Clarence's neighbor up there in Cana, Virginia. Well, I think we probably added him on to the log here at some time or other, but we haven't chatted with him too much. It's good to also add the howdies to him from old Cotton Grove Township down here. And, John, I'm glad you recorded and put down in writing what that John Dawson said, because I think that should go down in the history books. Let's see if old SMP happened to have an opinion on it. Surely he has landed on his landing strip there and has gone inside and is set up on a semi-permanent type basis. WR4SMP in the group WA4SK. Did you get that? Do you have an interpretation there, Ronnie?
Sure don't, Pete. WR4SK in the group WR4SMP. See, it's not so much as to find out what the problem is. It's the problem is how is that, John? You have to say that again. Let me get my pencil out and write that down. I heard that, and it did sound like exactly like Eugene Dawson or Lonnie Up. Now I have to wait just a minute. I'm not sure whether it's Eugene Dawson or Lonnie Up, but I'll guarantee you it came from that part of the country. Is John still with us? Is John, are you still with us? W4B4RGC in the group, W4SMP. I believe you're bugging him now. You know he ain't there.
No, I didn't know who you signed on, John. You go ahead and take it. We're all home. Can't you hear going? I fooled you, didn't I, John? You didn't think I'd make it home.
I could tell you it's home because your transmission quality's gone to pot. I can always tell that. It sounds good in the Pinto, but you get it inside, it's just a roar all the time. Well, I tell you, it didn't take long for your transistor and your power supply to get past the ice cube stage. Gracious. I'm Fleming, can't you donate that boy transistor? WA4YV, W4PZJ.
W4PCJ from WA4YV. I forget that Pete Rubino's in here. Pete, I got to write down here that we got you in here with us. Every time I turn it over to somebody, I think, well, heavens, I believe I was supposed to turn it over to Pete in the merry-go-round there to begin with. Let's see, Pete took it and turned it over to me for comment, and then I turned it back to Ronnie. Supposed to turn it over to you, Pete. So, Pete, forgive me. You're the kind of guy that would forgive somebody. John Vogler, I've got a query for you. Not so much a query, but a request. John, about 3 years ago, by the current calendar that we use, I forget the exact term they use for the calendar as we use it, you had a famous saying pertaining to a problem. I can't bring enough of it together to make sense. But you had a saying about a problem. I can't bring it together, John. But John, it's a famous quote from John Vogler, written down in the Library of Congress, and all that kind of stuff. John, do you remember offhand what I'm talking about? This WA4YV, what?
W4PZJ. Gracious, John. Anything that illustrious written down in the Library of Congress ought to begin with E pluribus unum, 6 separatus maximatus megatus. But, you know, I don't believe that's what you're referring to. Let me see if I got it. And, don't know. What on earth? One of my favorite recipes goes like a man born of woman is but a few days and full of troubles. But somehow they don't seem to fit, John. I bet that wasn't it, was it?
No, John, it was about the time you was having trouble with your power supplies. You and Ronnie were first coming on the air, and you had trouble with your power supplies, both of you did. And you had one of the funniest sayings I have ever heard about finding a problem and fixing the problem. I don't know, the terminology was just beautiful. And you're bound to worry about it tonight and think of it tomorrow sometime and let us know tomorrow night. But you had I wish I had written it down. It's something about you know you have a problem, and I don't know, I can't follow it from there. You know you admit you have a problem, but you can't put your finger on it, and I don't know, John. I guess you can't bring it together. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm trying, but I can't come up with it either there, John. Maybe, as you say, it'll come to me there. Yeah, wish I could remember it. Sounds like it might be good, but I can't think of very much worthwhile of saying tonight. No, I sure cannot. Absolutely. But I have to admit, I got a chuckle out of John Dawson's comment. It sounded like a cross between a non sequitur and a non-important remark, whatever that means. Yeah. It sounded like a political statement. That's exactly what it was. It sounded like a politician get up there and wave his finger at you and come off of that. And, man, you have the feeling that, boy, he's really laid some real brilliance on you. I mean, when you think about it, he didn't say nothing. No, I shouldn't say that. It sounded like a redundant comment in two ways. Not so much of trying to find a problem as to what the problem is. Is there a lot of difference in that, John?
There is, John. There is, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely a difference. And that should be written down also. That should be written down. I see we missed a net, which really don't mean a whole lot anyhow during the New Year's season here while we were gallivanting. And Peg says you go write a book on this whole bunch some of these days and send it to the local insane asylum for cultural intake to incoming patients and things of that sort. Now, John, this was a redundant, it was a redundant it was a redundant saying, absolutely. And it was very apropos. And I wish I could think a wee bit more as to the contents, but I had you to repeat to me several times. You have a problem. I can't grasp it. You have a problem, and I don't know, maybe go and get your mind off of it and you come back and it's not a problem anyhow. I don't know, John. I just can't grasp it.
Well, that don't come to me right at the moment. Seems like it almost wants to, but this won't make it, John. Guarantee I'll think about it, though. Oh, I hear they fired up a music-making machine in there somewhere 3 or 4 rooms away. Turned it loud enough to be eking in here. I hope it don't come through. Oh, I'll have to get out of my chair. That means I got to exert an effort. Go over there and close the door. I wouldn't like to do that because I'm very comfortable here just rocking back and forth. Absolutely. Well, RGC might be taking an extended leave of absence here. On Peggy there, good afternoon to Peggy. And, man, if she can write a book with the subject matter as to what you've indicated, that would be a worthwhile book to publish. And it'll either cure the inmates or make them totally incurable. And in my judgment, both ends are the same. WA4SK to take it. What about that, Peter Rubino? Order a bit. W4PZJ.
W4PZJ in the group WA4SK. Well, I'm still sort of wrestling with the problem situation there, John. And the only way I could tie that in is to relate it to soup, and the only way I have a problem trying to keep up with the soup is concerning the flatness of the bowl. They say that the fewness of the soup is in direct proportion to the flatness of the bowl. The flatter the bowl, the fewer the soup. And those type problems there, I can understand and comprehend those problems. But when you get into the others, they get a little away from me there, John. Well, things still remain pretty calm down here in old Cotton Grove Township. And we don't have a lot of words of wisdom to pass on, but we enjoy listening to all the crew this evening and appreciate you giving us a chance to break in a little early and to have our turn around. Let's see what Ron has figured out on our problem there. W4SMP in the group WA4SK.